In most stories about outer space, the danger is a predator. It's a creature with a heart, a stomach, and a set of teeth, lunging from the dark because it wants something from us. Cosmic horror is seeing a resurgence in books and film, but it's often confused with standard science fiction. We see a monster with tentacles and think Lovecraft, as if a certain number of limbs is what makes a story eldritch. But there is a line between the two. A traditional alien threat is a struggle for survival within a universe that still makes sense. We know why they are here. They want our resources, our territory, or our lives. True cosmic horror isn't about being hunted. It's about being ignored. It suggests the universe is a system that doesn't recognize human needs or morality as relevant factors. Calling an eldritch abomination an alien misses the point. One is a fight for our lives. The other is a collapse of our identity. The first way to separate these two genres is to look at the physical nature of the threat. Standard aliens have a recognizable biology. They possess organs, DNA, and vulnerabilities. This means they can be studied under a microscope or outsmarted by human engineers. Eldritch entities exist as alien geometries. They occupy dimensions that don't follow the spatial rules of our world, appearing as shifting, impossible shapes that our nervous systems aren't designed to interpret. John Carpenter explored this biological breakdown in The Thing. His monster isn't just a killer, it's an amorphous cellular entity that absorbs and duplicates its victims. It doesn't just kill a person, it negates the very idea of a self. This removes our most basic armor. If a threat doesn't follow the laws of physics, then our science and our defenses are no longer tools. They're just toys. We also have to look at motive. Why is the entity here? Alien motives are usually relational. They want to conquer us, or perhaps they want revenge. These are desires we can understand because we share them. Cosmic horror uses blue and orange morality. The entities operate on a logic that doesn't cross our definitions of good or evil. They are moving towards goals we literally lack the context to name. Take Azathoth, the blind idiot god. It doesn't want to conquer Earth, because Earth isn't even a variable in its calculations. It is a force of nuclear chaos that doesn't know we exist. When a pedestrian steps on an anthill, they aren't being evil to the ants. They are simply walking. To an eldritch horror, human civilization is that anthill. Being conquered by a malicious alien implies we are an enemy worth fighting, but being trampled by an indifferent god suggests we aren't even worth noticing. Finally, we have to look at how the story itself is built. Most monster movies are stories of intrusion. An outside force breaks into our civilized world, but a hero eventually finds a way to force it out and restore the status quo. Cosmic horror is a literature of realization. The terror doesn't come from a new threat arriving. It comes from the discovery that the universe has always been an unfeeling void, and our civilized world was just a thin veil. This is why these stories often use indirect revelation. Instead of a big reveal of the monster, we find fragmented journals and strange artifacts. We watch a human mind fracture as it tries to piece together information it wasn't meant to hold. If you defeat an intruder, you prove your worldview is strong. But once you realize an eldritch truth, your worldview is gone forever. The roots of this fear are in the word eldritch itself. It comes from the Old English for elf kingdom, a realm existing entirely outside our own rules. The genre found its footing in the pulp magazines of the 1920s and 30s. This was a time of massive scientific shifts, where new discoveries in physics and astronomy began to make our world feel very small. Eldritch horror was a reaction to the end of human exceptionalism. After Darwin, we were no longer divine beings at the center of a created world. We were just a biological accident in a vast, cold timeline. This is why standard space aliens can feel like a comfort. If a Martian invades Earth to steal our water, it means our water is valuable. If we can fight them off with human grit, it proves our willpower is a force that matters on a galactic scale. We look into the eldritch void because it's the only place staying honest about our scale. It simulates the fear that we are just a brief flicker in a cosmos that doesn't have a role for us. A space alien might take your life, but an eldritch horror takes your significance. It leaves you with the knowledge that even if you win the fight, the universe won't remember you were ever there.